we're still going with Asa. And I still think Asa is a really great king, but here we got some stories that aren't great. So 630 years is 36 years. He's reigned in peace. He's brought helped the temple out, took down the worship of Baal and the high places and the groves, and he's done so much for the kingdom. And in the 630th year of the reign of King Asa, Baasha, king of Israel, came up against Judah and built Ramah. Ramah is basically a high place or something of height, but I'm guessing they're building a high place for two things: for the intent that he might let none out come in to King Asa, king of Judah. I think basically what he's saying is he's building towers, maybe on their border or wherever, to not let people go back and forth from the king. Because remember, he lost a lot of people that went down south to worship the Lord in the southern kingdom, and he didn't want that. But also it could have been not only a watchtower, but when I hear a high place, I think of the high places that they're trying to get rid of. So that they wouldn't go down to Jerusalem to worship, they would worship there. At least that's part of it. It sounds like they're making a false temple to me. Either way, it's not going to be a good thing, and I really think that the towers are, especially what they're doing, but it does sound like they're trying to do it in a way that makes it seem like you need to stay here to worship. Then Asa brought out silver and gold out of the treasures of the house of the Lord. Whenever they do that, I've never seen, I'm still trying to find a verse where it's a good thing that they take it out of the house of the Lord. And of the house, the king's house, and sent to Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, that dwelt at Damascus, saying, there is a league between me and thee, as there has been with my father and thy father. Behold, I have sent 3 silver and gold. I sent thee silver and gold. Go, break thy league with Baasha, king of Israel, that he may depart from me. And Ben-Hadad hearkened unto King Asa, and sent captains of his armies against the cities of Israel. And they smote Aishan, and Dan, and Abel-maim, and all the store cities of Naphtali. And it came to pass that Baasha heard it, and he left off building Ramah, and let his work cease. Basically, while he's concentrating on building this high place to keep people in and out, I think of like the Berlin Wall or something like that, or something that keeps people in and out. But so they attack while he's looking at building this wall on more vulnerable places. So because they're more vulnerable, Baasha has to leave his work and go and try to protect his kingdom. Then Asa, the king, took all Judah, and they carried away the stones of Ramah, and the timber thereof, wherein Baasha was building, and he built therewith Jeba and Mizpah. So obviously there's enough that they could use it in their own building. It wasn't like a small project. And at that time, Hanani the seer came to Asa, king of Judah, and said unto him, now Hanani, I don't think we hear very much of Hanani. Hanani. I guess it is Hanani. Sorry, Hanani. Came to King Asa, king of Judah, and said unto him, because thou hast relied on the king of Syria, and not relied on the Lord thy God, therefore is the host of the king of Syria escaped out of thine hand. So he's relied on him. He's made a pact with them, so they can't really attack them or overcome them, because Syria is now they've got a pact. They can't do those things. We're not the Ethiopians and the Lubims, a huge host with very many chariots and horsemen. Yet because thou didst rely on the Lord, he delivered them into thine hand. He reminds them, the Lord's always been with you. What's going on here? For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth, to show himself strong in behalf of them whose heart is perfect towards them. I really love that saying. I think it's something that we should look to in our own lives. Know the Lord sees you personally, and that he is there to show himself strong in behalf of you, whose heart is perfect towards him. And remember, up until this time, Asa's heart has been perfect. Herein thou hast done foolishly, therefore from thenceforth thou shalt have wars. And Asa was wroth with the seer, and put him into a prison house, or the stocks, for he was in a rage with him because of this thing. And Asa oppressed some of the people the same time. I'm not sure what that has to do with it, but it does sound like Asa is starting to change a little bit. And it happened with a lot of kings, hasn't it? David and Solomon and Saul. They start out so well, and then something happens. I still have hope for Asa, at least overall. But he does seem to be oppressing some of the people, and I'm not sure what that means. If he was saying, hey, you guys come from the northern tribes and we don't like you guys, or what. I don't know what it was that he was doing, but it wasn't a very good thing to do, especially after throwing the seer into prison. Behold, the acts of Asa, first and last, lo, they are written in the book of the kings of Judah and Israel. Notice it says the book of kings of Judah and Israel. When you're reading in the Kings, it says it is written in the Chronicles of the Kings. And now that we're in the Chronicles, it says it's written in the Kings. I don't know if they're going back and forth to those two books, but it is just saying that there is other records. And Asa, in the 39th year of his reign, was diseased in his feet, until his disease was exceedingly great. Yet in his disease he sought not to the Lord, but to physicians. And Asa slept with his fathers and died, the 41st year of his reign. And they buried him in his own sepulchre, which he had made for himself in the city of David, and laid him in the bed, which was filled with sweet odors and diverse kinds of spices prepared by the apothecary's art. And they made a very great burning for him, which is burning incense and so forth. So he finishes off. I'm not sure if the sweet odors and everything that means anything specific other than they took great care. But here was a man that relied on the Lord all of his life, and then at the end of his life, he starts to go to the physicians for his problem, whatever problem that was, and he relied on Syria to fight their wars as well. Two things that really seemed to damage his relationship with the Lord. Now, I don't think any of that's totally wrong to do. For instance, if you've got a disease or something, yeah, go to the physician. If you've got something that's wrong, go to the physician. Why not? But always turn to the Lord. In fact, the Lord might have told him, go to the physicians. The Lord, if he went to the Lord, he could have actually said to him, have the Syrians help you. But the way it sounded is, the Lord would have just fought his war for him. Would have knocked down the wall or whatever it was. And scattered the troops of Israel. But instead, those what-ifs never happen, and Asa gets angry. Notice his problem is that he gets angry with the Lord's servants. One of the things I've noticed throughout my life, when I've talked to people who have left the church or anything, is their anger towards somebody in the church. Oh, I'm not going to go to church if they're going to be there. I'm not going to go to church if he's the bishop. I'm not going to go to church because of this or that. A lot of the people who leave because they don't they have that anger, and I hope we don't have that anger.